he would step across the line. Habitually. He's a habitual line stepper.
Boom.
What it do,
baby?
We're back. Thank you all so much for joining us on the Habitual Line Steppers podcast. I am Garrett Langley Henson.
And I am Terry Ricardo DeShazo the second.
Awesome.
The deuce is loose. The deuce is back.
Bringing y'all a very special edition, a Halloween edition, Halloween weekend edition, Halloween hangover edition. So we're going to make it a short one.
Yeah, it's a Halloween edition for you.
Yeah, man.
Everybody just saw my dog. She replaced me for a hot second.
I don't think anyone could notice the difference. Oh, man. Terry, where were you for Halloween?
You said, what was I?
Yeah, where were you for Halloween?
Shay just walked in. I was Bill Cosby, bro.
That's awesome. And the shoe definitely fits.
A wild boy, that guy. I mean, Cosby would have been more acceptable, 10 years ago? Maybe even 6 years ago?
Hey.
I definitely got some looks. People just looked at me like, are you? You can't be. And I was like, I am.
And then you pulled out your card, and you're like, Terry, habitual line stepper. I do this.
Little pudding pop.
Oh, man.
Little pudding pop and all that. Jello pudding. Anything like that.
Yo, at this rate, I believe that would be like a popular rapper. Lil Pudding Pop.
Wait, who are you?
I was a person who just drank responsibly. And
that's it. That's a lie.
Yeah, I was just a guy who made good decisions and just only had enough to drink to have a small buzz. That's what I was.
Oh, okay. Says the hungover man. It's 4 p.m. if everybody wants to know what time we started this. We usually start either at 11 or 1, and now it's 4 o'clock because Garrett couldn't wake his ass up. He's in a slumber. This is a shell of a man. Right in front of you, you see a shell of a man right beside me. Whichever way he is on the screen, whichever it goes, that guy is hungover.
You know what? You didn't have to come out here and put my business in the street for everybody, Terry. I don't appreciate it. Next thing you know, you're going to be exposing these chains for being a part of my shirt.
I think everybody knew that when they saw it. Hey, look, man, this ain't good.
Well, exposed this week, Terry. Ronald Koeman was exposed as a fraud and not the manager to lead Barcelona in the future. Joan Laporta and the rest of the Barcelona board said they had enough. And they sacked him. He got the boot. Ronald Koeman, the least successful manager in his short stint in Barcelona, in Barcelona history, is out. And so now, Terry, Barcelona fans can rejoice. And even with an interim coach, we'll talk about who's expected to replace him in a minute. But you could replace Ronald Koeman with an eraser for a dry erase board, and it would be an improvement over what he's been doing so far this season.
Yeah, he was just horrible, bro. I mean, I know this hits home a lot more for you, but dude, he just wasn't the right person for the job, bro. He was garbage. He's a complete garbage coach. He didn't know what he was doing. Hey, look, as far as like a player is concerned, he's an absolute legend. But he literally has just tarnished his reputation as like a Barcelona player in the past. Like everyone hates him. I'm honestly glad he's gone, dude. Because like at least he can kind of preserve himself as this shit kind of fades away. And like Barcelona gets better. They're just gonna forget about it. Because right now, my man, after every single game, I was like, look, if he keeps on losing, at first it was like a couple people outside his car. Mm-hmm. Then, the next week they lose another one. It's like maybe 20 or 30 people outside his car. Then the next week they lose again. It's like 50 or 60 people outside his car. I'm like, damn, are they gonna tip his car now or what? Like, he's just horrible, bro.
Bro, Barcelona are about to
not a man to people.
Get a letter in the mail with cut out letters from magazines saying, if you want Koeman back, put 2 million euros in duffel bag. They're good.
Yeah, man. What do you think was? What do you think was like the overall problem with him? I know, like the one big thing for me was the team just never had an identity. You know what I'm saying? Like he never had his own like culture for the squad. The squad was just random every week. It just seemed like it was a different formation or like a different scheme and shit. Like I didn't know what Barca was going to play like from game to game. It was just weird watching them. It didn't look like Barcelona.
Yeah. Well, you just hit the nail on the head with that last sentence there, Terry. That didn't look like Barcelona. You know, Ronald Koeman fancies himself like a high-level tactician, and he loves playing these formations that have all these built-in, like, defensive safeguards that the 4-3-3 doesn't have, that the 3-4-3 doesn't have. So he likes playing the 4-2-3-1s, so you have, like, essentially 6 men there on the back at all times, 2 CDMs protecting 2 center backs. Or he liked to play that 3-5-2, you know, where the 2 wingers are essentially defenders as well, and it's like a 5-man back line when out of possession. And that's not how Barcelona plays. And that's how they've never played. In their youth academy, they play a 4-3-3 from the time you're 5 years old until you're promoted into the first team. Or they play a 3-4-3, depending on when they get in possession and what the other team is looking at. You know, in the article I wrote last week about how Koeman needs to be out, Sergi Samper, who used to play for Barcelona, like described how when you play your whole life in that system in La Masia, it becomes like second nature. You know exactly like your movements. You know exactly where you're going to be supported. You know where to go with the ball ever. It's like just like riding a bicycle. You know what I mean? And then you take that you take that tradition and that Barcelona DNA, and then you start doing all this. Well, now I don't know where to move to in a 3-5-2, right? I don't know in a fucking 4-2-3-1 how I'm supposed to interact with the other guys so naturally. And so they lost the identity, as you said, Terry. And the Barca DNA that used to be like so apparent whenever you turn the game on. Win, lose, or draw, you're like, oh, that's Barcelona. And it's recognized from how they play. And that is no longer the case. In Barcelona, they have very little tolerance for losing. But they have even less for losing ugly. And that's what he was doing before he was asked to leave.
Well, let me ask you another question, though. So, like, do you also, and I know 2 things can be true with this statement I'm about to say, but do you also think that, like, he was kind of given a raw hand with how COVID just ramshacked y'all? Like, it just totally depleted all your resources and you couldn't really do anything as far as, like, players are concerned and, like, talent? You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Obviously, like, he didn't get dealt the best hand in terms of losing the best player in franchise history for nothing, not having any outside backs on the roster besides Jordi Alba. Not having
that's like
out and out or a right winger. You know, so it's not like he had.
That's not on him.
He doesn't have Manchester City's squad, but you got to play with the cards that you're dealt, man. And I understand that he's
got a bunch of trash ass players.
I know, but
they're horrible players.
But the thing is, you got to lose doing it the right way, bro. Nobody wants to try to protect. Like, he knows that these players aren't as talented, and he knows if he just lines up and just plays straight up like Barcelona, they might get caught a couple times and they might lose. So he tries to build in all these safeguards with the defensive midfielders and the extra outside backs and whatnot, depending on the system, to try like compensate for that shit. But we're still fucking losing. That would be fine if you did that. Like, you remember when Valverde was the coach and we were playing a 4-4-2?
Yeah.
You remember when Valverde was the coach and we were playing a 4-4-2 and shit like that?
Mm-hmm.
Koeman was like, I'll disrupt the whole system, and we're losing fucking 2-0 to Alves. So people are like, no tolerance for that, buddy. Even though you don't have the best squad, what you're doing is unacceptable, and we're not going to tolerate that either.
I honestly just think, well, I got two fucking things. One, I don't even think he was like qualified to coach the team. Like, I don't know where the hell he came from coaching wise. Like, I don't know who he coached before, but like, my man, it seemed like he was just like a Barcelona legend. And then he coached, did he coach like the Netherlands national team or something?
Yeah, that's where he left.
That was it, right?
Yeah.
It's like, you got this huge talent pool with the Netherlands. All right, cool. Like, you don't have to be a great coach. They have really good players. They're probably like the 5th best, like talent wise. Just in this like era, like they have really good players for their team. You didn't have to be like a great coach. Just pick 11 dudes that are really fucking good, and they're gonna probably at least win 70% of their games. So that's not even that big ass a deal. You put him on a team that where the players aren't good at all. That same system ain't gonna work with shitty players. You could do all you want with 5 defenders, 6 defenders. It doesn't matter. Everyone's a professional. No, some of you guys are amateurs. Some of y'all suck. It is what it is. Like. Some of the dudes just aren't that good, and he got dealt a shit hand, and he wasn't a good coach in the first place. Yeah. But also, I would like to say, even though his identity was play the 4-2-3-1 or whatever the fuck, if you don't have a striker, if you sign 3 main players and they're always hurt, what are you gonna do? Like, what are you gonna do, bro? Dembele was supposed to be your saving grace. He got hurt. Ansu Fati tore his ACL last year. I mean, that's your star. He's got the number 10. You have someone who just tore his ACL. That's your number 10 now. I mean, he deserved it.
By the way, happy birthday to Ansu Fati, who turns 19 today.
19, right?
19.
Star man. He's a star man.
The number 10, youngest scorer in La Liga history, youngest scorer in Champions League history.
Champions League, yep. So, did you think Koeman was worthy of being the coach? Just off his coaching record alone, I don't think he was qualified to coach the team.
When he got appointed, Terry, as you remember, I was like, well, we saw how well this worked out at Everton, where it was an absolute disaster. And Everton went better than Valencia, where he took over a team that was like third in La Liga and in the fucking Europa League. And then they barely avoided relegation and had to sell almost all their players just to like stay afloat. He single-handedly was coaching Valencia back like 3-4 seasons. So
that's who he was coaching before. He was coaching them.
Yeah, before he was doing Netherlands, he coached Everton and Valencia, and it was an absolute shit show. And so then they're like, well,
Everton has always been bad.
Yeah. Well, they're like, then Barcelona's like, you scored an iconic goal for us in the European Cup in the 90s. You want me to coach?
Yeah, he's definitely, I don't know. I just feel like it was a premature just because he played for Barcelona type of thing. Like, he was a club legend, so we'll let him be the coach.
Well, that's
kind of crazy to me.
Transition, Terry, to the guy who is being reported as replacing him. Xavi Hernandez reportedly coming back to Barcelona to be the savior that Ronald Koeman was. They were hoping that Koeman would be. Xavi is an even bigger club legend than Koeman, but I think we know that he's going to remain true to the tiki-taka style, as he was one of the people most famous for implementing it. And I could say with confidence, if Xavi comes back to Barcelona like it says that he is, I don't know how soon the wins are going to go up, but the beautiful game will be back in Catalonia soon.
Hey, look, I don't give a damn who you get as the coach right now. I don't think you're going to win.
No,
like, I don't see the team like winning. The goal this season alone, try to make Champions League. That's it. Try to, like, what y'all, Spain has 4 spots still, right? The fourth spot is the playoff.
Playoff, yep.
Just try to get in fourth, man, because it's embarrassing right now. I mean, y'all are sitting way down in the table. Like, all you gotta do is just try to save grace. Now, I don't know. You probably don't have the players to do the whole tiki-taka shit. You can try to do it, but I don't see that working necessarily for the team. But also, the players that you have, I don't know what they're gonna do. You do. I mean, you know what? Let me take it back. Some of your Spanish players can probably do it, but I don't know if like Aguero necessarily is like going to be comfortable with that. I don't know if like
He'll be fine.
Dest or Dembele.
Fucking Manchester City. Aguero will be fine. He looked good before he had a heart attack in the latest game and had to like leave the field.
Yeah, I heard.
Joint. He's going to be fine.
Yeah, I heard that.
Apparently he has heart arrhythmia and got diagnosed with that shit after that.
Yeah,
so good.
I heard. I was like, damn, that's crazy.
It's honestly an unsurprising turn of events for Aguero, who's been unable to stay on the field for like the last couple years, despite being legend, in terms of talent.
Yeah. It's
about like terms of talent and everything like that. Aguero is obviously the answer at center forward. He's 10 times more accomplished than everyone else on Barcelona. And he can actually finish inside the 18-yard box a whole bunch of chances that are going to be created.
So you think he's going to fit in perfect with the tiki-taka?
I think he will. I think he'll be like Suarez when Suarez was here, like a diminished version of Suarez, like in that same type of mold.
Trust me. City tries to play that tiki-taka shit. They don't really do it exactly. They're okay with it, but I'm not gonna sit here and say like they play tiki-taka. They definitely do a lot more like different types of things.
They're not.
No, it's definitely not.
But he's good with the hold-up play. Like he doesn't fuck up that pass before the final ball that always screws up attacks and shit.
No, he's decent. He's a great finisher. He's definitely a great finisher.
But the thing is, this is the point where we're at, where it's like we're looking at like a 35-year-old Aguero who's lost half of his pace, who hasn't been be able to be on the field at all in 2 years, and we're like, this guy, come save us, please,
the savior. He literally, like you just said, he literally just had like a minor heart attack, quote unquote, whatever it was.
Yeah,
and you're asking a lot out of this guy. You're asking a lot out of this guy, man.
And then
I'm just thinking in terms of your
Depay.
Yeah, I was just thinking in terms of your forward.
Scores bangers, but then misses tap-ins. And he hit the post and missed another tap-in in that game.
That's what I was saying. I was thinking
like a high school player, we would have won the shit 2-1.
I was thinking in terms of your forwards, like your whole forward line. All the guys you have, like I don't think they fit into Xavi's style. So it's like interesting to see if they will bring anybody in January or not, like in the transfer window, like that short little window. I don't know how much money they have either, so it's interesting to see like what the fuck they're gonna do. Because Coutinho's not gonna fit in with it. Depay's not doing that shit. He's okay, but he's not really doing that. That's not Dembele's style.
Dembele is never on the field. Talking about Aguero, Dembele is like, dude, when you played like 30 games over 4 years that you're in Barcelona, I'm no longer like, you don't factor into our plans, dude. Like, you can't be relied on for anything. I'm not going to like make acquisitions like this is your spot to hold down on the wing or any of that shit, or depend on you to raise the level of nothing. Like, I'm expecting nothing from you, and if you give me something, that's a Christmas bonus.
So you don't even think he's going to step on the field at all, really, for Barca?
I think they lit $140 million on fire. No, I'm not talking about Greece. I'm talking about Dembele.
It's so weird, though, but, like, he's been at Barca since 2017, bro. Like,
4 years.
He's been there for a long-ass time.
Yeah, he's played, like...
And he's 81 actual games. And it's crazy, like...
Dude, there's 20 games a season.
Yeah, and because, like, the potential amount of games y'all play is, like, close to 70, because you're in a lot of, like, Champions League and Copa del Rey and, stuff like that, so... And then, they count, like, preseason games, and they count, like, all that type of shit. That's crazy, bro. He's hurt so much. Like he might be the most injured person I've seen like get on a team. I don't think I've seen anyone that talented besides maybe like Royce, like Marco Royce.
Yeah.
He started getting hurt kind of crazy. But I really can't think of like a player with that much talent that has gotten hurt as much as he has.
Well,
it's ridiculous.
Ronaldo El Fenomeno.
Yeah, but he still had a decent career before he started
he just
hurt.
came back. Like, he was just so good that even after he lost his speed and he was fat and shit, he was like, I'm still fucking nasty. It doesn't matter that I'm dependent. Yeah. I'm still really good. But he was his Barcelona days, Ronaldo, that season that he played there, where like before all the injuries, where he was not only the best dribbler, but he also like could shoot with power with both feet, was strong, and was way faster than everybody too. It's like, whoo.
Nah, he was a beast.
Ain't no stop.
He was an absolute beast. He's a legend, bro. But what's your expectations for Xavi just this season?
First of all, I gotta say Garcia Pimienta, or no, I'm sorry, he's the coach of the third team, but they have like an interim coach right now. He's probably a coach for like a month or whatever until Xavi gets out of Qatar and they can break that contract.
Okay.
When Xavi does come, apparently like he's been doing a bunch of experimental shit out there in Qatar, playing like 3-2-2-3s and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which I think is interesting.
Nah, I've seen it.
Yeah,
I've seen it. They got like some clips and shit on YouTube.
I sent you that clip of that build-up play from their goal kick where they just go the length of the field. Like grease lightning, they dissect this other team. One touch all the way up the field into the goal.
Well, that's the thing though, right? So like in lower levels of soccer, if you can teach a shitty team how to pass, but you're playing against shittier players. So it looks like you're like this great tactician. But once you get into like higher levels of football, soccer, if you get in higher levels, like everybody's good. That shit's not going to fucking work every time. Like teams are just like, oh, this is what they do, and then they just either drop back or just pressure the shit out of you.
Well,
and their talent level is better. Their IQ is better.
That's why, like Johan Cruyff, his system that he established was like the 4-3-3 that changes and then becomes a 3-4-3, and then Pep did that at times too. And then moving Messi inside to the 3-4-3, and then he put Busquets down as one of those guys and let Alba get up there in the midfield. And so,
that's true.
So I expect
you just gotta have
to do like the same type of thing where it's like there might be two systems, but the 4-3-3 is going to be one of them, and then there's going to be another three-man back line. It'll probably be that 3-2-2-3 that he's playing in Qatar. But what I expect, Terry, that we qualify for the Champions League.
This year?
Yep, that this year that we qualify for the Champions League. I expect that he trusts in the youth and La Masia. And as an addendum to that, I expect Ricky Puig to get a lot more minutes and to be a contributor for Barcelona from this point in the season on, as Koeman froze him out for the 2.5 years that he was there. Every player on Barcelona after Ronald Koeman left, like, put out a message thanking him, saying, like, good luck at your next stop, mister, and everything, other than Pjanic and Ricky Puig, who both posted, like, cryptic pictures that were clearly fucking sneak disses.
Yeah, I saw the Pjanic one. I didn't know Ricky Puig said anything about him, but I don't know, bro. It's an uphill battle for Barcelona to make it, bro. I'm telling you.
They're not gonna.
I'm gonna take a look at the standings.
They're not gonna win.
No, I'm talking about just to get to the Champions League. Just to get to the Champions League, because
they'll be fine, bro. Listen, when Xavi comes in, he's gonna have the midfield humming. They're going to be creating all types of chances. All they need is fucking somebody to step up and finish them. That midfield.
You're in 9th place.
Dude, I'm telling you, Ben, that midfield with Gavi and Pedri and Frankie de Jong, that's a combination that we haven't seen, that hasn't played, That's a dynamic 3-man midfield in a 4-3-3. That ball's going to be zipping all over. And then up top, start to blast. All black front line. All right. We got Depay on the left. We got Fati in the center. And we got Dembele out wide. And when Dembele gets hurt 8 minutes into the first game, we can slide fucking Fati out to the right and play Aguero in the center.
Yeah.
Or Depay out to the right.
Yeah. I don't know. You just got to worry about the health of two guys. And also, though, like, you talk about all this malleability about the squad. Like, you had to have these players that are adaptable, that can play different positions and do different things.
Sergio Roberto.
Coutinho. Well, yeah, like, he can do whatever the fuck he wants. He's not going to play, like, crazy. Your forward line, they're not that malleable, bro. Fati, he can do whatever the fuck. Those other guys, one-dimensional motherfuckers. They're very one-dimensional dudes.
Nah.
And Aguero, at this point in his career, bro, he's just dude that can finish.
The problem is that right wing position, that's where the hole is. Aguero can only play in the center, but Fati and Memphis Depay can both play left wing or center forward. They're both equally comfortable and effective.
Where's Depay better at, though? You know where he's better.
In the center? But he likes...
You think he's better in the center?
Even when I think he's better in the center, in the hole, like behind as a second striker, and probably like a two striker system, to be honest. But like,
possibly,
like
yeah.
where
that's just not
where Wayne Rooney used to play, and like where Totti and Del Piero used to play. But people don't.
Yeah, that's just not what Spain does. Spanish teams don't really do that, though.
But the hole is the right wing, and like Dembele is the obvious answer because they need width. With whoever plays on the left is going to play inverted and want to cut in. So whoever plays on the right needs to give that width. Oh, Terry.
Yeah.
Breaking news.
What's that?
Terry, breaking news.
What's up?
As we discussed, Barcelona's need to find width down that right-hand side. Barcelona have agreed to a 2-year contract to bring Dani Alves back.
Oh, Dani Alves is coming back.
Legend, the winningest man in the history of soccer. No man has ever won more trophies in club soccer than Dani Alves. He's returning on a 2-year deal to Barcelona to come back and help mentor Sergino Dest on that right-hand side.
Oh, so he's not going to take time from him. He's just going to mentor him.
Oh, he's definitely taking time.
Hey, I got some other breaking news. Go ahead and hit the button. Hit the button. So you got all this, what do you call it? Cheerfulness about Xavi coming in and all that. Aguero out 3 months.
With the heart of
Sergio Aguero out 3 months. Yep. He's gone, bro.
All right.
He won't come back until March.
All right, so
maybe at the end of February.
He's got to play forward, and we got to get a kid, someone out there at academy. They played in their interim coach's first game in charge. He played some kid who I've never even heard of, who made his first game for Barcelona. He looked decent.
Yeah,
like some 18-year-old. Yeah, he was decent. So that's what we need to do.
Not Gonzalez, right?
No, it wasn't Nico. It was somebody else. But just throw out a fucking string of whoever's between the ages of 17 and 22 who plays a winger throughout all the levels of Barcelona. And hopefully one of these guys will stick. Like, that's what we did, how we found Pedri. We're like, there's this dude, Teo, who was playing his same position as Fast as Fuck was on the wing. Bojan was playing on the wing. They had all these different guys that they were just like, we're going to try 10 of these La Masia wingers, and one of them has got to be fucking decent. And then Pedro went on to score hundreds of goals.
Yeah, Pedro He ended up being really good for Barca. But I don't know, man. I'm worried about y'all, bro. But like you said, if you guys get fourth, that'll be a success for this year because it's been a roller coaster, man. It's been a real roller coaster, dude.
It has. And it has been a roller coaster for me as a Barcelona fan, Terry, but also as an Atlanta Falcons fan. And that was no different this Sunday when an hour before kickoff, our number one receiver, Calvin Ridley, told the team that he was not going to be playing in the game. Ridley later tweeted out in the middle of the third quarter that he's taken time away from football to get his mind right.
Damn, son. I heard about that. Is he going to stay out for the rest of the season or what? It's just he has to figure out what's going on with him.
Our coach wouldn't talk about it or talk about his timeline or any of that shit. It was you'll have to ask Calvin.
Yeah. He just doesn't know. Hey, man, you got to do what's best for your own life. I totally understand it. But what are you guys going to do? I mean, y'all aren't great, but what do you think about the whole situation?
Well, before I even get to that, man, I think this is a pretty important precedent that Calvin Ridley is setting in the NFL. I can't remember a time before this that somebody took time away in the middle of the season in this manner, and he's getting supported by his coach and his franchise and everything, and they're treating this different than if he was a high ankle sprain that he couldn't play for 6 weeks of. And I think he definitely feels that type of positivity and that support around him. I don't think there's ever been a case of this before in the NFL. You've seen guys retire and then maybe unretire after a season or something like that. You saw Ricky Williams. Ricky Williams famously did that. But never in the middle of the season and possibly returning and getting paid and everything like that. In the NBA, we saw Derrick Rose do it when he was with the Knicks. But as you know, in the NBA, those guys are on guaranteed contracts. In the NFL, those contracts aren't even worth the paper they're printed on for those guys. So for him to be the first person, it sets a big precedent. And I'm interested in monitoring this going forward because I can almost promise you he won't be the last. You're muted.
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not. But I don't know. I mean, your whole team, though, seemed a little more, what should I say, progressive. Your organization is definitely more player-friendly, opposed to a lot of other organizations, which I commend Atlanta for doing that. Even when it was vaccine time, they just said, look, we'll give you guys the information. You decide to do it on your own terms. That's up to you guys. Unlike some of the other teams, even fucking New England, when they decided to cut Cam Newton, they're like, hey, you ain't vaxxed and you ain't playing good? You can go ahead and get the fuck up out of here, buddy.
Hey, Ron Rivera.
You're gone.
He was get fucking vaccinated. I don't know how many times I have to say it. He said this shit at the press conference.
Yeah. But no, I commend Atlanta and the organization for doing it. I just hope Calvin's going to be all right. I don't really know what he's going through in his mind, but everybody knows, even if you play professional athletics, it's still, even though it's a game, it's still a fucking job. The shit's not easy. You can't do what you want to fucking do at all times. You can't go hang out with your family and not fucking work out and party and just bullshit. Because when you go in the game, you can get your ass hurt, badly, because you're not prepared for the game. So, I get it. I get, work fatigue. That happens to everybody. So I understand. But, who's to know what's actually going down with him? Hopefully everything is cool,
I really don't care, to be honest. I just, I'm a fan, and that stands for fanatic. And all I care about is him getting back there and catching touchdowns. I'll care about the other stuff when he retires and he's a person to me instead of just a person propelling our franchise forward. That's the fanatic part. But to be really real, I hope he does get the treatment that he needs and whatnot. And I don't really care about. I don't need to know what's going on with him. That's not really our business. I don't need to know why he took this break, and I hope he doesn't disclose it. You know what I mean? Take the time, get yourself right. In the NFL, it's a next man league, and Tajay Sharp is going to have to step up and fill that void.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, Terry, in fantasy this week, before the game, somebody proposed a Calvin Ridley trade to me, and I almost pulled the trigger to trade for James Robinson. And I paused. I was like, ooh, let me see how Calvin does this weekend.
Yeah. Because didn't he miss last week's game too? He missed last week's game too, right?
Yep, and he missed
Kind of the same situation.
the Jets in London for personal reasons.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I mean, he's kind of football. You don't see it much like in the middle of the season, especially like with the mental health stuff and everything. It's kind of following the footsteps of like the more individualistic sports like tennis and shit. You hear a lot about like tennis and golf and stuff like that because that's on your own time. Like you get paid if you play, that's on you. But a lot of the team sports, people don't really do this shit much because like you never know how people are going to react to you doing this. And plus he is your best receiver, but I'm not going to sit here and say like he's like a superstar in the NFL. Like he is good for your team. And I honestly commend Atlanta for still paying him because they could easily just be like, look, you figure this shit out on your own. We can waive you, bro. Next man up. But they're not doing that shit. And it's kind of, I don't know. All I can say is the same shit I've been saying. I commend them and I applaud that shit. It's awesome.
And
it's good to see.
It's a good look for Atlanta too, you know,
yeah.
especially like in upcoming free agencies and shit like that. Like players know that type of thing. And like, you know, it's kind of like how the Celtics were stained after they did that shit to Isaiah Thomas. And all the players saw that. And they saw that Isaiah Thomas is playing fucking hurt with his needed hip surgery in the playoffs, getting his teeth knocked out in the middle of games. His sister just died. And he's leaving it all heart and soul out in the court for the Celtics. And then instead of giving him the bag, they trade him for Kyrie Irving. And then he never gets the money. Guys around the league saw that, and Anthony Davis was one of them. And the Celtics, they had all those treasured trove of resources and whatever. That was all a guy like Anthony Davis who said the Celtics aren't on my list. And why did they do it? Why did he say that? Because he saw how they treated their players. And so for the Falcons,
I mean,
just the opposite of that. And even though short term, there may be some people that are like, you know, like they got no business paying. I wish I could get paid to not go to work and all this other type of shit and think the Falcons are fucking up. It's a good decision.
Yeah.
And they're looking at the long term with this one.
Yeah. Nah, it makes total sense, bro. It makes total sense. I get why they were going to do it. But, I mean, plus, if we want to be honest with ourselves, the Falcons aren't fucking world beaters, you know? So there's no need for them to have like this hard stance on this shit. Like, we don't agree with this. You need to step out on the field and be a man. Get out there and win games for the Atlanta Falcons. Nah, you guys are fucked.
Hey,
you guys are fucking your division.
Go rub some dirt on your mental health and get back out there and play.
Yeah, definitely. Nah, I commend them for doing that, man.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's an awesome move. Awesome move by the Falcons. Class organization.
And hopefully Calvin Ridley going to be back out there proving people wrong, proving that he can step up in the place of Julio and really has what it takes to be a number one receiver after he gets his mind
that's
right.
true.
Because I tell you what,
you're right.
Kyle Pitts looked like he came up in there and was like, Julio's gone, I'm the number one. How about that? Tight end.
Kyle Pitts, yeah.
Yeah, call me offensive weapon. Whatever you want to call me. I'm the guy.
Yeah, he's a beast for y'all. He's a beast for y'all this season. But let's digress. Let's move on to the other big news in the NFL. The one trade that no one saw coming. We're looking for another trade. I'm looking for the Deshaun Watson trade. But all of a sudden, we switch to the other side of the ball, and Von Miller gets traded.
Yes.
Von Miller gets traded to the L.A. Rams, bro. To the L.A. Rams for, a couple picks, maybe a player, but who gives a fuck about the other player or picks? Von Miller to the Rams. What do you think about that, man? He is an all-time great on the defensive end. Sacks, he's probably, top 10? I can probably look that shit up now, but, my man, he's out there beasting. He's got 100.
He's
a
defensive player of the year multiple times.
Yeah.
Now what the Rams have done is they've put another infinity stone into that gauntlet.
Yep.
And on that defense now, you have 3 pillars that are absolute all pro guys. Aaron Donald, and who all, not only are they all pro guys, they're guys who, like, when one person plays well, it benefits the next guy. And then it benefits the next guy. They play positions that are dependent on each other. And so when Aaron Donald and newly arrived Von Miller are making the quarterback run for his life and make quick decisions, now Jalen Ramsey is getting a bunch of interceptions and shit because he's running to the football instead of having his back. And then vice versa. When you have a blue chip corner like Jalen Ramsey who can man up for 4 or 5 seconds on a play, you know, and now you can send more pressure packages. Now Von Miller and Donald are facing one-on-ones in like 60% of the snaps, and they could eat. So,
this is a hell of a move, dude. I love it. Yeah, I love it. And like, as we sit here today, Von Miller is 23rd on the all-time sack list. Depending on how long Aaron Donald is never going to be there and staying healthy,
hey,
it's going to be a problem.
To the east side, son, except he went all the way to the west coast to L.A.
Yeah, I mean, shit, it's about to be like some damn near 7-man protections and shit, like when they play against the Rams. It's going to be a problem. Yeah. I'm interested to see what's going to go down. Because we already know Von Miller's an absolute beast.
A lot of screens.
Yeah. If I sit here today and talk with you, I still think Aaron Donald, like, overall, is more dominant and a better player than Von Miller.
Yeah.
But don't forget about Von in his prime, though. He was an absolute beast. And he's still a really good player. We just haven't seen him really do a whole lot, you know, in a while. But he's still a really good player.
Bottom line is this. The Rams now have 3 of the 10 best players in the NFL on defense on the same team.
No. Yeah.
And it's an interesting strategy, too, in regards to team building. Because you see so many different organizations do it different ways. The Patriots, you know, historically, they want as many bites at the apple in the draft as they possibly can get. And they're always trading down and getting more picks. They don't pay players gigantic contracts. Everybody's replaceable. And they're like the George Karl Nuggets. Nobody sucks on the team, but there are no superstars. Yeah. And everybody's good enough next man up to step up. Then the Rams, they built their team like the Nets did.
Like, pretty much.
We need a big 3, and all the money and all the allocation, all the salary cap is going to go to those guys. And then it's going to be rookies, undrafted guys, and people on veteran minimums who make up the rest of the
rest. I like it.
And
I love it. I honestly love it.
I do too. And they've been aggressive. They doubled down on it. Like, the other thing they do is they trade future picks for established stars. And they've shown they're willing to do this again and again and again for trading up to get Gurley, trading to get Ramsey, trading to get Matthew Stafford, and now trading to get Von Miller. And they're willing to say, like, hey, 2 fourth-round picks in the future years, I'd rather have a veteran on the team right now. So, call it kind of an all-in situation right now for the Rams. I don't know how long their window is like this, but their chips are in the center of the table. And they're like, we've sacrificed a lot of draft capital in the future, a lot of resources, a lot of money for these 4 guys.
Yeah.
But
I think it's going to pay out.
There together, this is going to be tantalizing, man. They're as talented as the Bucs now. This immediately puts them right back on the echelon with the Bucs, I think.
Oh yeah. Hey, let me pee real quick. I'll get back. Hold on. But yeah, no, I totally agree with you, bro. Like, I think that they just saw that they need to stay competitive with the other teams. Like, they already have a really, really good team, but the Cardinals are a really good team, defensively and offensively. Like, they have a great team. Kyler Murray, MVP caliber type of dude. Then they got J.J. Watt and fucking Jadeveon Clowney on the line and shit. Like, they have a really good team. I think they just thought they got to stay with the Joneses, bro. The Packers are good. The NFC is looking great. Like you were saying, the Bucs are great. They were like, look, I know we're good. but we need to make sure that we're better than good. We need to be at the tippy top because the NFC is looking fantastic this year.
Loaded.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Yep. Even the Cowboys.
NFC is looking so good that it's like, as a Falcons fan, I'm already like, we're one Matt Ryan ACL tear away from being fucking the second worst team in the league. Getting the number 2 pick next year. All right? I'm literally at the point where I'm trying to decide, should we push to make the wild card game and get blown out by 35 points in the wild card? Or should we just flush the season and get the number 1 pick?
Yeah, if I were y'all, I would just tank it out. There's no reason to try to be good. Like this year, all the teams are too good. Like there's no reason to try to get positive momentum. For fucking why? Why? Who cares? Like this shit's over, bro. Like even if you look in your own division, the Bucks are the best team by far. Like they're absolutely outstanding. Then you got the Saints who aren't even that bad either. Then the Panthers and the Falcons are pretty much almost on the same level. And somehow they have a better record than y'all. They've been playing like absolute dog shit. Yeah, like just give it up. Take it. Why? You're 3-4. What are you gonna do? Fucking win out? That's not happening.
The only thing,
if you win 50% of your games,
establish like a culture. You know what I mean? This is his first year, new GM, new coach. You don't want to like establish a culture that like we're okay just fucking throwing the towel in and getting our ass kicked and whatever.
No.
So I understand that.
What I'm saying.
But this might be a point
what I'm saying,
the GM is like, yo, I hope you guys need to fucking flush this shit. But the coach is like, you play the game.
I think if you guys honestly just play, you're gonna be bad anyways. So it doesn't really matter what you do. Like, if you try to win games, I don't think it's gonna work anyways. So it's like, just try hard, but, you know, if you see a couple of instances where you can kind of fuck up in a play call,
if anybody wants to give a first-round pick for Cordero Patterson and admit that they fucked up, he could fucking immediately just become a big-time weapon now. We've all seen Cordero Patterson, the biggest mismatch in all of football. Terry, another guy, like your boy, who was in the NBA
Hester?
talking about, who took the 10-year leap.
10-year leap? Who are you talking about?
Who were we talking about in the NBA the other day when we were doing the game? It was Ish Smith. Ish Smith took the 10-year after being in the NBA 10 years. This is the same thing.
No, I remember. Yeah. Cordell is really great, but I mean, if a team wants to get him, go ahead and get him. If I was like a top tier team, I'd try to get him. Like definitely. Yeah, because he's an absolute weapon.
We'll take more draft picks in the coming years, bro. We're sellers.
Oh yeah.
Like,
look, 100%. If you can take, because like if you can get first round or second round or third round even for a fucking punt returner, kick returner, do that shit in a heartbeat. The best punt returner of all time scored on fucking 2% of every kick or punt return they got. So it's like, do it. That's not even a question. Like, see you later.
He's in the offense playing fucking running back or wide receiver. He's in on like 70% of the snaps. He's mismatching on everything. Yeah. Nobody can guard this guy on offense.
That's how you use like a smart, like a really fast and like agile dude. Like that's how you do that shit. And Andy Reid is doing it correctly.
And don't forget, motherfucker's also 6'3", 230.
Yeah, he's a really big dude. I like it. And he's good, man.
Somebody, the trade deadline or whatever, was it next week?
I think it's week 7. Are we almost there or past it? It's like week 7, week 8.
Is this it? Are we at the trade deadline? Maybe.
I think it might be next week. I'll look it up, but it's a week.
Other 31 episodes.
Yeah, I believe so.
Y'all are on the clock. Atlanta Falcons, we're having a yard sale. All right, guys. Come on down to the Falcons squad meet and come pick you up some nice gear. We'll take some future picks in return.
No, bro. The trade deadline is tomorrow.
Well, by the time this pod
Trade
comes
deadline
out,
tomorrow.
the trade deadline will already be closed. And this entire
We're
section.
still waiting for Deshaun.
Yeah, we're still waiting on. Well, he's still waiting on that one too. I know he's going to give up a pick to trade for a guy who only runs go routes. In typical habitual line steppers fashion, the last 7 minutes of this pod were completely irrelevant. Being as that is going to come out after the trade deadline. We talk about trades. I couldn't have found a more fitting way to wrap it up with you, buddy.
Yeah, man. It's great, bro. All right, brother. Well, another one in the books.
Yes, sir. We'll be making
the
an
lips.
announcement on what game we're doing later this week. Until then, buddy.
Thank you for stepping across the line with us for another week. North Carolina, continue to stand up.
Habitually.
Peace.
He's a habitual line stepper.
Oh, no energy, no energy. I didn't like it. Fuck you.
Thank you for listening to our podcast this evening. Thank you. You're far too kind.